سبيل الدموع سبيل مريح تنهد يا صاحي كي تستريح.
الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على أشرف الأنبياء والمرسلين ونبينا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. أما بعد. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. Today's topic is named I can't be religious. It's usually something that we say as we're growing up and we see people who seem more practicing or they seem more pious from whatever we think pious to be. And we feel that we cannot reach that state. For example, you come into the masjid and you see the imam and you're thinking that there's no way I can be like this person. You know, he's so practicing, he's so religious, or she's so religious, you know, she's always behaving in this way, he's dressing like that, she's dressing like this. I can't do that. I can't be that practicing. That's not me. That's not what I'm about. What I want to show today is how easy it is to be religious. How easy it is to be practicing. And I want us to think about it as we go through, as we cover how we basically spend our day. Let's think about it in a non-Muslim's perspective. We'll say it very quickly. For a non-Muslim, he or she wakes up, goes to work, right? Wakes up, has breakfast, goes to work, comes back, has dinner, right? Maybe he goes out, does something, comes home, goes to sleep. That's Monday to Friday, right? Saturday, Sunday, they have some family time or whatever they do. That's it. Isn't our life similar to that though? As Muslims? Isn't our lifestyle similar to that of a non-Muslim living in America? Very similar. We go to work or we go to school, whatever, what have you. So how is it that we can be practicing, but we're doing the same thing a non-Muslim is doing? Well, every action is dependent upon the intention that we do it with. So what I want to show everyone today is that everything that a non-Muslim is doing, even though we might be doing it, we can get rewards for those same things, and we can be practicing, we can be religious. It is that easy. It is that easy. So for example, when you wake up into the dua, Alhamdulillahi ladhi ahyana ba'da ma amatana wa ilayhi nushur, right? You're basically praising Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for giving you your life back and you gotten a chance to live for one more day, right? And you acknowledge that, you know what, wa ilayhi nushur, we will return back to Him. To Him is our return. And what did you do at that point? You just worship. So you just started off your day worshiping. How long did that take for me to recite? Very short. Then you go ahead and you have breakfast. Before you have breakfast, you say Bismillah. Before you start eating. So whatever you just ate, considering the food is halal, you just got rewarded for that food. Right? You're practicing. You're still practicing. Who did you eat breakfast with? Let's say you ate with your family. You get rewarded for spending time with your family. Now let's say, now what does that mean? Are you arguing with your family members or are you having a nice breakfast? That depends, right? So if you have a proper breakfast with your family, you say Bismillah, you're getting rewarded for the entire process, right? Maybe you maintained your anger from speaking out, lashing out at your family members. Then you go to work. Now, okay, 8-hour shift. How am I going to be practicing in an 8-hour shift? Well, it depends. Why are you working? Are you working a halal job, getting income which is halal? You're not cheating your employer, right? You're getting all this money to provide for your family, to provide for your friends, to provide for your community when you give in charity. Is that what you're doing? If that's what you're doing, and you're doing it with the intention that, you know what, Allah, I'm doing this because you told me my responsibility is to provide for my family. You told me my responsibility is to help out my friends, to help out my community. This is what I'm going to do with my money. I'm not cheating my employer. I'm going to do my best at my job. The best that I can do. I'm here to do what's right, and I'm going to just do my best basically. Be punctual, follow everything through. Whatever I signed the contract for, that's what I'm going to do. If we're doing that, you get rewarded for that 8-hour shift. Even at lunch you have, because at lunch you say Bismillah again. And then you eat, and then you get rewarded for that again. Consider the food is halal, right? So you just took all this time from morning, from 6 o'clock, to lunch, till the end of the day, 5 o'clock. That's 11 hours. 11 hours of worship right there. Then you come home. You have dinner with your family. Again, you say Bismillah. You're spending time with your family again. You get rewarded again. You're still practicing throughout the day. It's still happening. And then before you go to sleep, you have that little time. We'll call that buffer time. We'll come back to that later. Right? And then before you go to sleep, you say, well, Another dua, Allahumma bismika amutu wa ahya. Right? That, how long did that take? Very short. So let's say I sleep for 7 hours or 8 hours. The 7 to 8 hours that I've slept, I've worshipped. I have worshipped in that situation. Even having relations with your spouse, you get rewarded for that. So not only are you completing your desires, but Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is rewarding you for that. And then you go to sleep, you're thinking, I'm just sleeping, 8 hours, I'm not doing anything. Allah says in the Quran, we made the night for you to rest, for you to basically recover and gain your energy. So you're getting rewarded just for going to sleep. All you have to do is say dua before you go to sleep. Say dua after you wake up. One sentence, very short, easy to memorize. If you don't know it, look it up. Just Google it. Dua before going to sleep, dua after waking up. You'll find it. Transliteration, translation, everything. Arabic writing, everything. That's another 8 hours, 11 hours, 8 hours. That's 19 hours out of the 24 hours you have. You're practicing. How is it hard to practice? Tell me. Out of the 24 hours, I gave you 19 hours, hands down, easily, you're practicing. Right? And that buffer time, let's talk about that buffer time. That buffer time can be spent in different ways, right? You can now that sometimes we look at the buffer time and we're like, this guy is practicing because of his buffer time, or she's practicing because of her buffer time. Those 5 hours, or you see this person volunteering at an organization, you see this person at the masjid. It's very important. But don't account their 24 hours based on the 3-4 hours you see them. The 24 hours is still there. It's the entire day that's going by. I don't know how your day is being spent. Just because I see you for 1 hour of the week, I'm not going to assume you're religious. I'm going to assume good of you. You shouldn't assume I'm religious. Let's put it that way. Just because you see me for an hour a week or something. Because you don't know what I'm doing with the rest of the day. But we see from this how easy it is for us to be practicing the rest of the day, right? We can get rewards all throughout the day. So I wanted to show how easy it is in Islam for us to be rewarded, living the life that we're living, whether it's in America, Bangladesh, India, Pakistan, whatever it is. It's very easy to carry it out. You can go to school, you can get a job, you can work, you can spend time with your family. And throughout the entire process, you can get rewarded and you can be practicing, inshallah. Next point is, I can't give da'wah. Right? I see people talking about da'wah, you gotta give da'wah. I cannot give da'wah. It's not meant for me. Again, I want to show you how da'wah is easy. Da'wah can be very easy. The first point is that when it comes to da'wah and it comes to Islam and practicing the religion, a lot of Islam is mu'amalat, which means our dealings, our transactions. But let's talk about in the sense of dealings with people. How we deal with people around us. How we deal with society. So for us, how we deal with our parents, let's say, or our children, let's say, or our siblings, let's say, that's part of da'wah, right? To think that, let's say I'm a born Muslim, right? Super privileged because I'm a born Muslim. I think I'm good. I'm not. Just because I was born Muslim, it doesn't mean I'm not. It doesn't mean I am, sorry, it doesn't mean I am. So I have to consider myself that I need da'wah and I need to give da'wah. And da'wah is not just for non-Muslims, da'wah is also for Muslims, right? So when you give da'wah to your family members, how do you do that? You do it with your behavior. You refrain from yelling out at your family member, right? You refrain from saying something extra, saying something that's unnecessary, that comment that you could have not said, but then you decided to let it go because of your frustration, right? That's da'wah. Because then what you end up doing is you end up building a relationship with your family members, which is built on love, not spite. Usually that's what ends up happening, There's a lot of spiteful actions we carry out when we do with our friends and family. Oh, you did this, I'm going to do this. You said that, I'm going to say this, right? You think this, I'm going to think that. It's not tit for tat. If it was like that, then if Allah were to treat us with tit for tat, we'd be screwed. To be very frank, if you want to be so fair, why don't you start being fair with you and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? And start trying to repay Allah for what He gave you. You can't. So when it comes to other people, think the same way. With Allah, I'm always asking for Allah's mercy. Why can't I give my mercy to other people? So mu'amalat, our dealings with other people, is a huge aspect of da'wah. Another small portion, da'wah when it comes to the workplace. I'm at work, how am I going to give da'wah? Well, it doesn't mean you got to go and tell everybody, hey, I'm a Muslim. You don't have to do that, necessarily. You can do small things. When you take a prayer break, at work, right? And it's our responsibility to find a job which allows us to pray Dhuhr Salah, Asr Salah, right? When you take that break, at one point someone's going to ask you, where do you go? Do you go for a smoke break? Because in companies, people take smoke breaks, right? I don't take a smoke break. I'm going to pray. Oh, you pray? Oh, okay. That's dawah right there. What do you pray for? Oh, sometimes you're making wudu and they say, yo, why are you washing up to your arms? What's going on? Like, you're all like, you're not even sweating. What's happening? I'm doing ablution, basically. I'm doing ablution to make sure that, I'm purifying myself for prayer. People will ask you questions. You answering that is da'wah. Us answering that is da'wah. Ramadan came around. It's coming, right? So what are we going to do at our workplace? Something I personally did was I took sweets and I wrote down a note saying Happy Ramadan. They don't know what that is. What is Ramadan? So they're going to Google it. People bring stuff to the office, right? At the cafeteria or the kitchen, whatever the kitchenette that you have. So if you bring sweets, people bring sweets for Easter, they bring sweets for Christmas, they bring sweets for Thanksgiving, whatever. I'm gonna bring sweets for Eid, I'm gonna bring sweets for Ramadan. And I'm gonna let them know, I'm gonna make sure they know what they're getting the sweets for. You feed them, Muslims, non-Muslims, regardless, you feed them, right? And you let them know, this is what we're doing, this is why I'm doing it. I'm a Muslim. People actually ask me, hey, what is Ramadan? And then I actually give them a synopsis of what Ramadan is. That's how da'wah works. Even having a beard at the workplace gives you a representation of, oh, why do you have a beard, maybe? No, is there a fashion statement or like what's happening? Then you're like, oh, okay, I do it because I believe this is the sunnah, the tradition of the Prophet, peace be upon him, and I want to follow his tradition. This is the reason why I'm doing it. Even though to you it might seem stylish. These are small things that we can do to show look how easy da'wah is, really. And then another thing is like, I cannot live a simple life. Meaning if I'm practicing, because if I have to be practicing and religious, I gotta give da'wah, I gotta live a simple life, I gotta break everything down. Rasulullah said in Sahih Muslim that, the hadith in Sahih Muslim that says that Rasulullah said that, someone with an ounce of arrogance will not enter Jannah. And then the Sahaba, the companions, meaning the people who were with him during that time, radiallahu anhum ajma'in, they asked him, one of them asked him, what about a man who, prefers a nice ride? So for us, let's say a nice car, right? Or likes to dress properly, nicely. Doesn't that person have arrogance? So if I dress nice, if I have a nice car, I can't go to Jannah? Now, what does Rasulullah said that? He says that, إِنَّ اللَّهَ جَمِيلٌ يُحِبُّ الْجَمَالِ. Indeed, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is beautiful. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala loves beauty. And then he continues, the Prophet, peace be upon him, continues to say that arrogance is not in your clothing and in your car, though it might be, but it's not necessarily that. What arrogance refers to in this situation is rejecting the truth, ridiculing the truth, and despising the people. Look at this, despising the people. We just talked about mu'amalat, we just talked about dealings with our parents and our elders and our neighbors and our co-workers. So when we despise people, when we ridicule the truth, we reject the truth, that is arrogance. Don't get me wrong, people can still be arrogant with their clothing. People can still be arrogant with their ride, their car that they have. But it doesn't necessarily mean that just because you have a nice car, or you wear nice clothes, it means that you're arrogant. It really doesn't, right? So it shows that you can still live comfortably, but you better be able to afford it. You shouldn't be living in a house with all this interest and all these loans just so you can live comfortably. When you have the option of renting a house, right? You shouldn't be getting a brand new car, 2018 car, if you can't afford it. You're paying extra, and now you're in debt, and you're in interest. You're dealing with riba, when you could have gotten an old car and live perfectly fine, go from point A to point B. So if you can afford it, if Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has blessed you with that, then take it, right? But it doesn't necessarily mean that you can just go ahead and just spend your money frivolously. You shouldn't be in excess, but at the same time you can live comfortably if Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gives you that blessing of living that lifestyle, inshallah. So the last thing for me to conclude is that to show that it's very easy to be practicing from what I just showed, right? Almost all throughout the day you can be practicing, and religiosity is beyond what's external, right? But we don't neglect the external. Often this happens, right? Often this happens. We hear talks like, okay, it's just piety is all internal, yeah. And what is internal reflects your external. It doesn't mean just focus on your internal, you focus on both. You focus on how you're presenting yourself to the public, and you also focus on how you are feeling and addressing the public at the same time. There's a balance between it. We have to balance the internal and the external. But obviously the internal is superior to the external, most of the times, of course. So we want to start with baby steps. How do we become, I just basically exemplified how easy it is to be practicing. Start with baby steps. Now, in the schedule that I gave, from the morning to the night, I didn't mention prayer in there, right? Prayer is an important part. Babies, I didn't mention it because that's something that everyone does. Everyone goes to work, everyone goes to school, everyone does this, everyone eats dinner. But not everyone prays. So if we don't pray, if we are of those people who are not praying, let's start with that. Let's start baby steps, slowly, and start tonight when you go home. Start with the dua before you go to sleep. Allahumma bismika amutu wa ahya. Start with that. So I'm going to start from today. I'm going to be practicing. It doesn't mean you're arrogant by saying that. You're not arrogant by saying that. It's something you're trying to do. You're trying to motivate yourself, right? So inshallah we can try to become better in the sight of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, because in His eyes is what the ranks really, where the ranks really remain, not within how one of us we see each other. With that, I'd like to conclude. سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك نشهد ان لا اله الا انت نستغفرك ونتوب اليك. السلام عليكم.
وعليكم السلام. تكبير.
الله اكبر.